like picking potatoes. So this is the original step here, and it's quite a bit of a mess. And on top of that, when I stick my measuring tape on here best I can, what you may notice, if I can get it right about there, so it's about 8 3/4 thick. Now the thing about steps is there's a minimum and a maximum that you want a step to remain inside, and there's very good reason for that. And I forget what the minimum is. It's very rare that we actually use the minimum, and I want to say it's something low. It might be 4 inches, it might be 6 inches, I don't know. I rarely ever go that low, but the maximum you want for sure is 7 7/8. That's the magic number. You don't want to go above that, because what happens is, in our heads, we know how big a step should be, and when you start going above that number, that's when it becomes a toe kicker. You don't lift your leg high enough and you wind up tripping over it. So I have these steps here. Conveniently, they were sitting behind the lean-to at the back, or the covered porch, I should say. And these ones, these cast steps, and they're actually kind of nice, they're about 7 inches. 7 inches is a really nice number. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And we've also got these patio stones back here that I dug up out of the garden. So I'm going to lay these patio stones down. And we got that. Those patio stones are about 1.5 inches. And the step is 7 inches, so that's 8.5 inches. And what we would also like, as much as possible, is for the distance between steps. The tolerance is actually very low. I think it's 1/16 of an inch is what you're allowed to vary between steps in a single flight. But it's not going to matter too much, because this is a temporary situation, but we want it relatively close. We don't want it anything super great, because this ground's also going to settle. I'm not tamping it down. I'm not doing anything crazy. This is just a temporary set, but we want it relatively close. So looking at what we got here, I've just got my tape pressed into the ground a little bit, and we're looking at a depth of, it's probably going to be about 17 inches settled. So when we factor in, we've got 1.5 inches for the patio stones, and then we've got with the step, that's 8.5 inches, 17. So yeah, it's going to be 8 inches on one step and then 7 inches on the other. So I might pull a little bit of the dirt from either side when I go to level this area out, set the stones, and that'll bring it close enough that when it does settle, it's not going to be out enough. It's fine for a temporary site. So let's get that done. Before that though, I'm going to clean up this mess. I always regret saving all the cleanup for the end, especially when there's some heavy lifting involved, because I'm usually tired by then, so I like to keep up with it as I go. with that out of the way, I think I'm going to tackle what's next that's bothering me. This. So, let's have a look at what we're up against. That is pretty sunk in. I don't want any machines near that either, so I'm going to take care of that right now, and I'm just going to do it by hand while I'm already set up. So my guess here is that it was dug out. I know we did a little bit of digging, but not that much. But you'll see it's sunk in all the way around the well. It was dug out, and then they did some work on it to put a new sleeve in. Probably dug out a little bit more, and then we got some settled ground. And it's all raised up along here. So what I'm going to want to do is take out, obviously, this little tree here. Get all the grass and everything kind of taken out of the way. And then I'm going to shave the ground over here, and I'm going to push everything into that hole, and a little bit over here as well. And then there's a big mound over here. Once I get that done and just level it out, it should be pretty manageable at that point. And then I'm going to put the sawhorse back over top. It's just a nice deterrent to make sure that nobody does drive over it. So before I get to that, just want to take a second to remind you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It does a lot to make sure we're pushed through in the algorithm, and you know, gives this whole thing kind of a heartbeat. So yeah, if you could hit that subscribe button, it'd go a long way. So let's get to it. More bricks. How many more? I say, these used to be a garden border. Like picking potatoes. I tell you what, I feel like I'm on quite the roll here, but should probably get cleaned up for the time being, and we'll see what we're up to next. So, wouldn't you know, I stopped for dinner, and by the time I come back, it's already pretty dark outside. So I stopped at a good time, and yeah, I managed to get quite a bit done out there. So I'm very pleased. But continuing on inside, I just received the shower diverter. So that's what I needed to get this done. Unfortunately, I went through my pieces just before starting. I'm missing a couple things to actually get this done, but I am going to start the plumbing in here. So I got to run a line out there. I got to get the toilet drain in. I got to finish this drain to the new vanity. I got to get the hot and the cold line in. And then I got the shower and the tub plumbing that I got to throw in. So I got a lot to do topside here, and I got quite a bit to do down below. And we'll go over what's going on down below when I get down there. Before I head down, I'm just going to drill out and place the toilet flange. That way it gives me a marker to work with when I'm down there. So let's get that done. We're going to hop downstairs. Must be catching her now. There was a nail. All right. Well, that's annoying. The goofy little stud is right there. Alright, so we're down in the basement. Let's have a quick look around. So over here, you'll see this is the piece that's in the way. That's not a big deal. It doesn't have to be there. It can move over. It's not the end of the world. It's just a pain to have to do it because the subfloor is nailed into it. So that's no issue. So aside from that, this has to be modified on top of being raised up. So you'll see, and there's the plumbing vent over there. I can raise it up quite substantially. Yeah, and it's all breaky. So I'm actually going to be redoing quite a bit of it. I'm going to be sawing it off and reapplying the vent. What I'm lacking, unfortunately, I just realized, is more of these 3-inch T's. So I need a T like this, except I need 2 that are 3 inches all the way around, and I don't have them, unfortunately. So I won't be able to get too far with the drain, but I can get quite a bit done. But what I can do, just because I already know it's not in the way of anything, is I can rough in all these plumbing lines. So the hot and the cold. So that's not a problem. Now, I do have one more obstacle. So over here, when I drilled down for the hot line over here, it's running right alongside this piece. So I might have to kick that over a little bit. That's not the end of the world. So that's what we're up to here. So I'm going to get that moved. We'll have a decent idea what we're up to. And yeah, I'm going to want to take all this apart anyway, just because it's pretty much right over top of this this line. I could still get it in, but it's going to be a little bit of a pain if I got all this mess here still. So I'd rather piece it in from scratch there. So I'm just going to remove it from here, and I'm going to take it off here, leaving as much meat as possible. I don't want to remove all of this. So that's what we'll get done right now. I'm gonna hop back down with the Sawzall and get that started. Oh, it's already on. That's why. We're gonna go up. We're just gonna drill out those water lines. And wow. Sorry for the bumpy ride. Let's see where we're at here. I usually have the camera turned the other way for that, don't I? Ooh. All right. So, let's see. Okay. Yeah, sure enough. I knew I didn't want to use that one. So that's a pretty good spot right there. This one's good. All right. Alright, so we got these up, and when they get to their finished height, it should work out. So I'm going to go up, I'm going to finish the tops, and then I'm going to mark the pieces, and then I got to take it apart, and I've got to basically solder the top, and then I'm going to install it and solder the bottom from down here. And the reason I'm doing it in that order is because it's pretty finished upstairs, and I'm really tight to the drywall, to the studs. I don't want to risk burning anything, so I'm trying to do it in order that'll prevent me from having to put a fire too close to all that material. So let's get to it. So of course I forgot to turn the camera on, but you didn't miss much. So basically I got the stubs coming up and protruding the wall. And I'm going to wait to put the ends on till after the drywall's on. That way I can keep it nice and tight, and I could put a single piece flange on here So that's just going to stay just like that for now. So what I did is I put 2 marks on each of the connections, and I'm going to be careful not to touch anything until everything's marked down below. So the reason I do 2 marks is that in the event that I take this off and I accidentally mix it up with another piece, when I put it in, and this one doesn't even really need a mark. This can twist any which way, it doesn't matter. It's really just this one here that matters. I don't know why I bothered marking that. But at any rate, if I put, let's say I flip this elbow around and I put it down here. Well, if you have a single mark, you can still kind of match it up to the mark, but it's not going to be right. But if you have 2 marks kind of randomly placed, then you're going to see right away that that's obviously not where it goes. So that's why I put 2 marks. So let's head down. We'll finish marking that, and I'll kind of show my logic as far as why I am orienting, or why I'm soldering things in the order I am. So now I'm going to get everything marked here exactly the same way. Just get that off. So, and I'm not going to worry about the T at all. So basically why I'm doing this is this T is going to be done last. So I'm going to do the top, and then I'm going to plop it in, and from there it can pretty much drop right down. Like I can move this out of the way, I can do what I got to do. And once it's all connected, with exception to here and here, I'm going to do this last, and the reason being is this is kind of out in the open. There's not really any risk of burning anything. So having all this done means I don't have to put my fire next to this floor joist or any of the framing or drywall above, and I'll be able to kind of do it in place, and it won't be that awkward. So I'm going to get these 2 done. Once these are done, I can head over to the shower and get that started, and there's quite a bit to be done there.